Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, more commonly known as Mahatma Gandhi, is one of the most iconic leaders of the 20th century and a towering figure in the struggle for Indian independence. His life and philosophy reshaped not only the destiny of India, but also the global discourse on justice, civil rights, and peaceful resistance. Gandhi's leadership was rooted in the belief that truth and nonviolence were the most powerful weapons against oppression. His campaigns of peaceful protest against British colonial rule inspired millions of Indians and resonated with freedom struggles worldwide. To understand Gandhi's role as a leader of Indian independence through nonviolent resistance, it is essential to explore his life, philosophy, key movements, and enduring legacy. Early life and influences. Gandhi was born on October 2nd, 1869, in Porbandar, a coastal town in present-day Gujarat. Raised in a Hindu household influenced by Vaishnavism, Jain traditions of nonviolence, and a deep spiritual culture, Gandhi's early life was marked by religious pluralism and moral teachings. At the age of 19, he traveled to London to study law. While in England, he was exposed to Western political thought and religious philosophies, including Christianity and the writings of thinkers like Leo Tolstoy and Henry David Thoreau, both of whom left lasting impressions on his mind. In 1893, Gandhi moved to South Africa to work as a lawyer. There he confronted racial discrimination firsthand when he was thrown off a train for refusing to move from a whites-only compartment despite having a valid ticket. Such experiences awakened his sense of justice and set him on the path of activism. Gandhi began organizing the Indian community in South Africa against discriminatory laws, pioneering the concept of satyagraha, or truth force, which emphasized nonviolent resistance as a means to confront injustice. His South African campaigns became the testing ground for the methods he would later employ on a much larger scale in India. Return to India and rise as a leader. Gandhi returned to India in 1915, already a recognized leader among Indians abroad. He was soon drawn into the nationalist struggle against British colonial rule. Unlike many political leaders of his time, Gandhi sought not just political independence, but also moral and social transformation. His vision of Swaraj, or self-rule, went beyond the removal of foreign domination. It implied self-reliance, communal harmony, the uplift of the poor, and the eradication of untouchability. Gandhi's methods distinguished him from other nationalist leaders. While others focused on petitions, negotiations, or armed resistance, Gandhi believed that nonviolence was the only path that aligned with moral truth. His commitment to ahimsa, nonviolence, and satyagraha, truth force, won him respect across diverse sections of Indian society. Farmers, workers, intellectuals, women, and the marginalized all found inspiration in his words and actions. Major campaigns and movements, the Champaran and Quetta struggles. One of Gandhi's first major interventions in India was the Champaran Satyagraha of 1917, where he led indigo farmers in Bihar against oppressive plantation systems imposed by the British. His nonviolent protest compelled the colonial authorities to make concessions, setting a precedent for peaceful resistance. Shortly after, in 1918, Gandhi supported peasants in Quetta, Gujarat, who could not pay taxes due to famine. Again, through negotiation and non-violent pressure, the farmers won relief from taxation. These successes established Gandhi as a leader who could mobilize the masses. The non-cooperation movement, 1920 to 1922. In 1919, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in Amritsar shocked India as British troops killed hundreds of unarmed civilians. This brutal event convinced Gandhi that cooperation with the colonial government was untenable. In 1920, he launched the non-cooperation movement, calling on Indians to boycott British institutions, schools, law courts, and textiles. Millions responded by spinning their own cloth, khadi, resigning from government jobs, and staging peaceful demonstrations. However, when violent clashes erupted in Chauri Chaura in 1922, Gandhi called off the movement, demonstrating his uncompromising commitment to nonviolence even at the cost of political momentum. The Salt March and Civil Disobedience, 1930. Perhaps Gandhi's most iconic campaign was the Salt March of 1930. The British monopoly on salt production and taxation deeply affected ordinary Indians, and Gandhi chose salt as a symbol of resistance. Leading a 240-mile march from Sabarmati to the Arabian Sea, He and his followers produced salt in defiance of the law. This simple yet profound act sparked mass civil disobedience across India. Tens of thousands were arrested, including Gandhi himself, but the campaign captured international attention and highlighted the moral bankruptcy of colonial rule. The Quit India Movement, 1942. During World War II, Gandhi launched the Quit India Movement, demanding immediate British withdrawal from India. His call of do or die inspired millions to protest, strike, and resist, despite harsh repression and mass arrests. Though Gandhi was imprisoned for much of the movement, it marked the final phase of India's struggle, and by the war's end, it was clear that Britain could no longer maintain its hold on the subcontinent. Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolent resistance. Central to Gandhi's leadership was his philosophy of ahimsa and satyagraha. For him, nonviolence was not merely a political tactic, but a way of life rooted in moral conviction. He believed that true resistance came from appealing to the conscience of the oppressor, not by inflicting harm, but by enduring suffering with dignity. Gandhi's nonviolent resistance had several dimensions. Moral discipline. Protesters were expected to remain peaceful even in the face of violence. Self-reliance. Gandhi promoted economic independence through the spinning wheel, encouraging Indians to boycott British goods. Inclusivity. His movements brought together people across caste, class, gender, and religious divides. Constructive program. Beyond resistance, Gandhi advocated social reform, including the upliftment of women, education for all, and the eradication of untouchability. This holistic approach made his struggle not only political, but also transformative for Indian society. Challenges and criticisms. Despite his towering influence, Gandhi was not without critics. Some Indian nationalists, like Subhas Chandra Bose, argued that his emphasis on nonviolence slowed down the independence struggle and failed to confront the British with sufficient force. Others, particularly from marginalized communities, felt Gandhi's efforts towards social reform did not go far enough. For example, B.R. Ambedkar criticized Gandhi's approach to untouchability as paternalistic rather than empowering. Nevertheless, Gandhi remained steadfast in his belief that only nonviolent resistance could lead to lasting freedom, without sowing seeds of hatred and division. His moral authority allowed him to mediate communal conflicts, though he was deeply pained by the eventual partition of India in 1947, which resulted in widespread violence between Hindus and Muslims. Legacy and global influence. Gandhi's impact extended far beyond India. His philosophy of nonviolent resistance inspired global leaders and movements for justice. Martin Luther King Jr. drew upon Gandhi's methods during the American Civil Rights Movement. Nelson Mandela acknowledged Gandhi's influence in the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. Leaders in Eastern Europe, Latin America, and elsewhere have invoked Gandhi's principles in their quests for justice. In India, Gandhi is remembered as the father of the nation. His birthday, October 2nd, is observed as the International Day of Nonviolence by the United Nations. While independent India has evolved in directions Gandhi might not have envisioned, his ideals of peace, truth, and justice remain guiding principles in times of conflict. Conclusion. Mahatma Gandhi's leadership of the Indian independence movement through nonviolent resistance was a remarkable experiment in moral politics. He transformed the struggle against colonialism into a global lesson on the power of truth and nonviolence. Gandhi demonstrated that mass movements could challenge powerful empires without resorting to bloodshed, and that true freedom is inseparable from moral responsibility. Though India's path after independence has been complex, Gandhi's legacy endures as a symbol of hope for oppressed peoples worldwide. His life reminds us that courage lies not in violence, but in the capacity to suffer for truth and justice. Gandhi's philosophy continues to resonate in a world still grappling with inequality, oppression, and conflict, offering a timeless blueprint for peaceful change.